What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some loadouts and strategies to use to beat the Chamber of Starlight Lost Sector on Legend difficulty. To do this, the first thing you need to know are the modifiers for this Lost Sector. It is a taken Lost Sector, meaning you have unstoppable phalanxes and overload hobgoblins. The modifier is Epitaph, meaning taken combatants generate blight geysers when defeated. This Lost Sector has solar burn, meaning solar damage both dealt and received is increased by 50%. This means the fire from the knights and wizard will mess you up in a hurry. This Lost Sector has solar and void shields to deal with, and as is always the case, we have locked loadout, match game, extra shields, and limited revives. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the first build. The first build we'll look at is on the Warlock. For this build, we're on Bottom Tree Solar, the Attunement of Flame. We have the exotic gauntlets Necrotic Grips on, which is absolutely amazing at taking out the taken thrall. If you don't know what these gauntlets do, when you melee an enemy, it will poison that enemy, and then the corruption will spread to other enemies when it dies, so it is great for ad control. We have Concussive Dampener and Solar Damage Resistance on for survivability, and we have Particle Deconstruction on to make our Linear Fusion Rifle and Fusion Rifle hit for more damage. We also have Elemental Ordnance and Melee Wellmaker on to make Elemental Wells, and we have Font of Wisdom to give us improved ability regeneration, including 100 Intellect to help us get our super quickly. And we have 2 hands-on mods on our helmet to give us super energy when we get a melee kill. Again, this just allows us to get our super even more quickly. For weapons, we have the Accrued Redemption Kinetic Bow for stunning overloads, the Null Composure Void Fusion Rifle with Reservoir Burst for dealing with grouped up adds and void shields, and then one of my all-time favorite weapons in the exotic Linear Fusion Rifle, Sleeper Simulant. This is great for taking out the champions and solar shields. Overall, I absolutely love this build, and I hope you do too. It is a very fun playstyle and extremely effective. Enjoy the run. Next, we have the Hunter build. For this build, we're on Top Tree Nightstalker, Way of the Trapper, running the Marksman Dodge to reload our weapons, and we have the 6 Coyote exotic chest piece on so that we can gain an extra dodge charge. We also have 100 mobility so that we always have a dodge available. We're running Taking Charge and 3 Argent Ordnance mods so that our rockets can one-shot the champions. However, I would also recommend Shield Break Charge here, as there are a ton of void shields in this Lost Sector. For weapons, we have the Kinetic Bow Whispering Slab for stunning overloads, the exotic Void Fusion Rifle Telesto for dealing with all the adds and void shields, and finally, the Ritual Solar Rocket Launcher Ascendancy. This rocket launcher has explosive light on it so that we can do even more damage when we pick up an Orb of Power. It is available as the ritual weapon this season, so definitely make sure to go out and get it. One final thing that I forgot to mention when I broke down the Warlock build is that you want to put Taken Spec on all your weapons for this Lost Sector if you have it. It works against all the enemies, and it applies a 10% damage boost rather than 7.5% like you get from minor and major spec. But that's pretty much it for the build. Enjoy the run. So as you can see, at the very end I died to the wizard's solar blast. As I mentioned before, the solar burn makes the knights and wizard's solar attack hurt a hell of a lot, so watch out for it. I would definitely recommend solar resist when you're on this lost sector, and maybe don't face up with the wizard way out in the open away from any cover like I did. But once you get the boss down, you are free to go grab the chest and get your loot. You don't have to kill all the enemies. You probably already know this, but I figured I would point it out anyways. You just have to kill the boss and all the champions to get platinum. Anyways, let us now check out the final build. For this build we are on Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, Code of the Siegebreaker. We are running an Elemental Well build for this one, with Well of Ordnance to create wells with a grenade kill, Font of Wisdom to give us 100 intellect when we pick up a well, Explosive Well Maker which makes a well when we get kills with explosive damage, and Well of Ordnance which will grant us grenade energy when we pick up a well. This will allow us to spam thermite grenades, and on Bottom Tree, those kills will make sunspots which will kill even more adds. This is a good way to deal with all the taken thrall. We also have Ashes to Assets to gain super energy for getting grenade kills, and we have solar damage resistance and concussive dampener on for survivability. We have Innervation on our boots to get grenade energy back when we pick up an orb of power, and linear fusion rifle finder and scavenger for our weapons. We have particle deconstruction on to make our linear fusion rifles do more damage, and we have a kinetic bow to disrupt overload hobgoblins. And then we have the exotic linear fusion rifle Lorentz Driver for ad clear and dealing with the void shields, and the Corsair's Wrath for dealing with solar shields and doing big damage on the champions thanks to solar burn. There's actually quite a lot going on with this build, and it all synergizes well together. Sadly, in this run, I couldn't really show its true potential off, but when the build is working properly, you can really get chaining grenades if you have lots of enemies around you and are creating sunspots, so try it out for yourself sometime. I know a lot of people probably wanted to see a Cartesian coordinate in this run, as it is solar and is super strong. But it is best to deal with most of these champions at a distance, hence why I used more long-range weaponry such as rocket and linear fusion rifles. On top of that, there are too many void shields in this lost sector. One thing I would recommend would be the Imperial Needle Bow and Bastion, and pair those with either a rocket launcher or linear fusion rifle. Unfortunately, I can only use so many weapons in these build guides, but that would definitely work well here. 1000 Voices is another weapon that would absolutely put in work here, but it isn't the most ammo efficient weapon out there. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the loadouts and builds that I did showcase, and if you did, then a like would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. As always, happy Lost Sector farming and take care.